In this video, we will be focusing on releasing stiffness around your hip and groin area. The scope of it is to help you improve your performance during exercise and help you relieve some of your symptoms. This video is going to be ideal for those of you who suffer from mild joint injuries such as groin pain, or else someone who suffers from osteoarthritis, so you get stiffness because of the underlying condition. Now, obviously, it's important that these exercises are done gently. And why are they important for your rehabilitation? So we know with some evidence that there is a bigger risk of injury for groin and hip injuries during sports if you have limited rotation in your hip internal and external rotation, primarily internal rotation. So if you have more stiffness in that, you are at higher risk of injury. There is also an element that when you're doing movement and when you're doing exercise, you have an ability to decrease the pain pressure threshold. So the movement itself will help decrease your overall sensation of pain. It is important that any stiffness that we have in the joint that is because of an underlying condition, we try and improve the movement so that we can help the ligaments and the muscles around it to help contract efficiently during either our daily tasks or else during the sports activity. Before we delve into the exercises, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for updates on weekly releases. So equipment wise today, we will be needing a chair. If you have one, ideally one, because we're going to be doing the exercise, one of the exercises, ideally onto the chair. And then you need a mat or on a carpet, as long as it's a nice safe space to do so. Before we head onto the exercises, please remember that if you do already have any existing pain into your hip or joint or groin area, to not push into pain. Some discomfort is okay, but don't push into severe sharp pain. But if you're okay, we can get going with the exercises. So we're going to start without the chair and we're going to focus in standing. So we're going to start in a wide squat. So this is your first exercise, toes pointed out. And we're going to take a wide squat, like a sumo kind of squat. Then we're going to place the right hand into the inner thigh of right leg. And we're going to push your chest into slight rotation by pushing the shoulders down, and then we're going to push that leg away. You're going to feel a stretch into rotation of your chest and also into your thigh. And then we come back up, and then we do the same on the opposite side. So push onto left thigh, dropping the shoulder on under your left side, and then push back up. And we're going to repeat that for a few times, taking it easy initially, and then you can pick up a little bit the pace as you go along. And again. Last one. And finish off onto your left side. And then come back. Very good. Now come back in. Second exercise, we're going to take a side lunge. So we're going to take a big step with the right, and then we're going to bend onto that right knee, and we're going to keep that left leg nice and straight. So you're going to feel a stretch on the inner thigh into your groin hip area, and then we're going to come back up. And we're going to repeat that a few times on one leg, and then we switch over. So again, onto the right, and then come back. So you want to drive your hip backwards, trying not to push too much pressure on the knee going forwards, keeping that chest nice and upright. Last one. And again, you can keep the last one here. We can add a little bit of rotation, bringing left hand down, and we're going to rotate that left hand up to ceiling and down again towards that leg, and then up to ceiling. So you're going to feel a bit more stretch when you bring your left hand to right foot, and then up it will release again, and we release one more, and release, and then come back up. So I'm going to repeat the same thing to stretch your right leg. So we step to the side with the left, bend knee and hip backwards to stretch your right thigh, and then come back. So you want to do a few side lunges first, bending back. You really want to think of sitting backwards as if you're sitting onto a chair, like a single-legged squat. And you're keeping that leg nice and straight. And then with the last one, you're going to hold and now bring right hand down towards left foot, and then up towards ceiling. Down towards left foot, up towards ceiling. If you want to add a bit of a stretch, you can touch further away from that left foot rather than inside, and then come back. That rotation will give you more of a stretch on the inside of your right inner thigh. Last one. Very good. And then come back up. Bring your feet in. Roll a little bit your shoulders back. Now we're going to do a chair stretch. So we're going to bring in your chair. And again, you have to be a little bit careful with this one. So if you have a little bit of a balance problem, make sure you're safe with this one, or else avoid it altogether. If you're okay, just bring in left foot onto the chair. So you're going to face forwards first and then rotate your chest away. And that gives you the rotation already into that hip. If this is already stiff for you, all you have to do is just focus on that rotation, getting your chest away from that hip. If you're okay, keep that rotation, and you're going to try aim right hand, bend a little bit that right knee, and reach down towards the floor. It doesn't matter if you don't reach. This will open the hip and your pelvis through the back, and then come back up. Breathe out, you lower. Breathe and come back. Breathe out, you lower. Breathe and come back. And again, watch for any flexion, so any bending through the hip. If you get a pain when you're bending down, try and not push into the pain. You can try and roll a towel over the hip, but that still won't give you enough space. So if this is a little bit painful for you, you can skip it altogether. But it's a good one to really improve your hip mobility and your mobility through the back of your spine. So again, you can do it on the opposite side. So you don't need to change the chair around. Right leg on top. Start by rotating your chest away. So you can start a little bit of rotation first. And then once you've done that for a few times, we're going to turn foot away, and then we're going to lean down as far as you can with the right hand, and then come back. Lean down with the right hand, and then come back. Lean down right hand, and then come back. And you repeat this a few times. We always aim to do about 6 to 8 repetitions of each on either side. Last one. Very good. And that's your exercise with the chair. Now, you can place that chair aside, and we're going to come onto your hands and knees. So we're going to get ourselves onto the mat. If you need a padding for underneath the knees, just grab a blanket, place it underneath across the mat, and then come onto the knees. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and knees underneath the hips. So the first one is your adductor stretch. So the adductor stretch is going this way. But if you already struggle with stiffness getting the leg out, the first thing you'd want to do is you open the leg out first. And you can do a few repetitions where you just simply extend the knee out to the side and back, out to the side and back. And then if you're happy, and once you're okay with that movement, you can keep that movement there, and then you're going to shift your weight back into a child's pose and then come back up. Shift weight back and come back up. Shift weight back, come back up. And again, you repeat this for about 6 to 8 repetitions. And then once you've done a few of those, you can stay up, and then you're going to bring an arm opening. So you're going to bring left hand underneath, and as you rotate, you're going to feel a stretch into that inner thigh of your left side, and then we're going to reach up towards the ceiling, and that eases off. So again, leaning through, and then lift up, and it eases off. 3, come back up. 2, come back up. Last one. Come back up, and then drop the hand and fold in your knee. And we're going to repeat the same onto the opposite side. So you bring yourself hands underneath shoulders, extend right leg out and fold back in. Extend right leg out, fold. Extend right leg out and pull back in. Extend right leg out, pull back in. One more. Then you can keep that right leg out. You can shift your weight back and you can shift forwards. Back and forwards. Back and forwards. 3, 2, 1. Very good. And then fold the leg back in if you need a break. If not, keep that leg out and we do the arm rotation. So we bring right hand under, right hand goes up, right hand under, right hand goes up. 3, 2, 1. And then come back down. Fold the knees back in. And the next exercise is going to be a child's pose, in going weight shifting child's pose, going forwards and backwards, but with your knees wide. So again, you can keep the padding underneath the knees. Bring your knees as wide as the mat if you can. Tuck in your toes so your toes point in. And then you're going to shift your weight back and then shift forwards. Shift back, shift forwards. Shift back, shift forwards. 3, 2, last one. Very good. So this exercise and the one that's coming up onto your back are a little bit fairly easy if you already have good mobility into your hip but just want a little bit more as compared to the previous one that we've done. So you can just choose the ones that you feel a bit more comfortable. So these are a little bit easier. The next one is lying onto your back. So you can put the blanket away and just simply lie on your back. And all you have to do is make sure you're nice and comfortable. Feet, bring them together. Keep the feet together and just allow your knees to drop and fall out. And all you have to do is just feel a little bit of pressure and add a bit of pressure into those thighs. And you're going to feel a little bit of tension into the side of the hip and also into the inner thighs. And again, it's a nice, easy exercise to start off with. And you can start with a little bit of gentle stretch and then bring them in. And then open out, let them drop. Bring them in, open out, let them drop. Bring them in, open out, let them drop. Bring them in, open out, let them drop. Again, aim for about 6 to 8 repetitions with the last one. Again, a gentle pressure out, bring your feet in closer and just hold it there. Take a few breaths. And out. One more. And out. Bring the legs back and you can just extend those legs and just roll them a little bit into your face up position, just to ease off any tension that might have built up. And then come back up and we're going to go through 2 bonus exercises that you can do. And the reason for these 2 exercises is because your hip and groin area is covered by a lot of muscles that don't only control the hip. And the stiffness that you may get in the hip can also be due to other muscles, especially when it comes to your glutes that are covering your hip and also into your lower back and your pelvis. So we're just going to go through 2 basic exercises that I feel complement the mobility into your hip and your groin and will help you a little bit more. The first one is a modified pigeon pose, which I like to give because a lot of people tend to do a pigeon pose and don't really focus on what they're doing, especially where they need to stretch, and they just keep pushing it and just ideally have to break it down. And the second one will be your Cobra. So first one being your modified pigeon. Again, we're going to go into 4-point. For this one, it's difficult to keep a padding underneath the knees, but if you absolutely need it, please go ahead and do so. So the modified pigeon pose is going to start off in 4-point. Then you're going to bring in, we're going to stretch your right side. So you're going to bring in your right knee forward. Then you're going to try and get the shin of the right foot parallel to the short end of your mat. So give it a bit of space from the left side and rotate your leg as far as it can go. Now mine comes to an angle, so I'm going to help it with my left leg and try and rotate it and bring it to the short end of the mat. Now, a few key points. Make sure you're not tilting anywhere through your pelvis, And now from that position, your hands are on the floor, left leg at the back, curl your toe and just start lowering your body. Now you're going to feel a really big pull through the back of your bottom. If that's where you want to stay, you can stay. Just make sure you're not tilting to compensate and that foot, the shin, is not kicking inwards. So that is where you need to feel the stretch. You can uncurl your toes on the left side, and if you're happy, you can lower your chest. At any point where you feel like you're compensating, you can stop and don't push any further. It's useless doing the stretch if your leg is kicked in and it's not parallel to the short end of the mat, because you are not stretching efficiently the back of your bottom. So again, holding it there. This stretch also helps to stretch your pelvic floor, and it's really important for issues like sacroiliac joint, your groin and hip mobility as well. And it's really important for you to do it well. So again, hold it there, and you would just want to stay there for a few breaths and breathe out. No real movement here, just staying in, holding into your stretch. Every time you exhale and breathe out, try and lower into that position. And breathe out. And then take a final breath in and out. And then slowly to get up, straighten your hands up, curl your back foot, and then slowly walk in. And then unwind your right leg and just shift your bottom side to side. So we're going to repeat the same thing onto the left side. So I'm just going to change position so you can see me as well on the left. Again, we're going to bring in left leg forwards. We're going to rotate it towards getting your shin parallel to the short end of your mat. And then hands on the floor, and then we're going to try walk down. Now, in my case, the left side is my worst and stiffest side, so I would probably not be able to go any further, because if I do, I kick in my leg. So before going any further, I just want to make sure my form is good, keep that position. So I'm just going to stay there, and then if I manage, lower onto the elbows. And just hold it there, because you can easily move through your pelvis and compensate your movement. Now take a breath here. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more. And breathe out. You're looking at trying to aim for about 30-second hold. If you cannot manage a 30-second hold, you can easily come to 3 sets of 10 seconds as well. So curl your toe, the back foot, walk in, and then uncurl your front foot, release, and you can just shift a little bit your weight and release any tightness or any discomfort rather than tightness in the hip that you might have felt. So that's your modified pigeon pose. And the last one, we're going to do a Cobra stretch. This will help stretch your front of your abdominals, which are really important. You've got abdominals that cover the front of the hip, and it's really important to stretch as well. And also get a little bit of an extension through that lower back to help with your hip extension. So we get ourselves onto our elbows first, pushing the knees back. And then just relax as far down as you can. Hands a little bit wider than shoulders. Take a breath here. And then as you breathe out, you're going to push onto your elbows. Hold that position. You can shovel your hands a little bit more forwards. And just think of really letting that position relax. Now then you're going to take a breath in again. And then you're going to breathe out and push your hands up and extend those elbows and hold it there. Try and let go of the front part of your tummy, and you're going to feel a little bit of pressure in that lower back. If it doesn't feel okay, just go back onto your elbows and take a few breaths in that position. If you feel okay here, just sink your shoulders away from your ears. Take a breath in here, and then breathe out, lower down. And again, we can repeat it a few times. We take a breath in. Breathe out, press into the hands, extend either on elbows or completely on the hands, and then come down, elbows, and drop. Again, breathe out, push, extend, elbows, drop. Breathe out, push, extend, elbows, drop. Last one, breathe out, push, extend elbows, drop and drop. Well done. So again, just push yourself up, bring yourself back into 4-point, and you can sit down if you wish. And well done. So those are the exercises for today. You've got a few exercises and a few modifications that you can follow to help release any stiffness around your hip or groin area. I hope you enjoyed that video and I hope you find it useful. If you did, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for updates on weekly releases. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.